Was there any special communications, or did Mike know? Did we?
Any what?
Was there any special mindset? Was there any kind of psychic
Well,
connection?
it'd been obvious for quite a while that he had some health issues.
Okay.
For a few years, and so there was that underlying kind of tone, but it wasn't like he'd made an announcement or anything, or had said anything specific. It was obvious that he was under the weather.
So it was obviously emotional for both you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
And it was a great show, and thank you for doing that. And I love the REM EP, the EP of REM songs.
Oh, REM, yeah, thank you.
I mean, you recorded two of my favorite REM songs, and they never sounded as good as that. And I've been with them since '82, so good for that.
It came out good, and they were pleased. The guys from the group were very pleased.
And how did that come about? REM of all bands. I mean, you can sing anything.
It was not any one specific. I'd done the Nesmith album, Dolan Sings Nesmith. Before that, a few years before, I had done King for a Day.
Yeah, Carole King album's worth picking up too.
Micky Dolan sings Carole King, and Jerry Goffin, of course, writing partner. Before that, I did an album called Remember, which was just a lot of my favorite tunes. And the title song was the song by Harry Nilsson, Remember, and I was like there when he wrote it. We were very good friends. And so after Dolan Sings Nesmith, I remember chatting with Christian Nesmith and chatting with the record company in England and knocking ideas around, Micky Dolan. It felt right to stay in the same groove of doing Micky sings this, Micky sings that, and I don't remember who brought REM up, but I listened to I knew, of course, most of the stuff, but I listened again, and Christian listened to the stuff, and for me it was very important that Christian, as producer, and arranger too, that he picked songs that he felt he could, what we said was reinventing, reimagining a song, because he did that in a stellar way on Dolan Sings Nesmith, which blew me away because, something like Circle Sky, I don't know if you remember that one, but thank you. Circle Sky, great record to start with originally, and Christian must have heard it in the crib, he's like a baby. And all his life he would have heard that song, but then to be able to turn it on its head, I thought was just marvelous. So he's very good at that. And so I kind of then left it kind of up to him. We routined a bunch of the songs. He said, I think I can do something with that. I think I can do something with this, but this one I don't know about it. And so basically then at that point, I'd already approved my short list, and he went away and came out with a little bit of magic, I think.
Yeah. I mean, back on the REM thing, Shiny Happy People is pretty much probably the best Monkees song never recorded by the Monkees. I mean, it's perfect for you. But Radio Free Europe, God bless you. You did a great job on that. And you have a new album coming out? Do you have a new album coming out, Micky, or something new?
Yes, and it happens to be available on my merch table. It's an album I did in April. It's live at the Troubadour, the very famous Troubadour restaurant in Los Angeles. And a favorite place of mine from way back in the 60s. We were there all the time. I spent 2 years there one night. And so it seemed like a cool place to do. It was a charity event for Make-A-Wish, my favorite charity. And so
Great
it's
charity.
live at the Troubadour.
Dynamite. And I haven't heard the record, but I'm sure it's the record of the year. I mean, how could it not be the record of the year? Mickey, live at the Troubadour. The stars are aligned. There can't be any. This is and it's a great Christmas gift too for those bastards in your life. Sorry, not to get political, but I personally would get behind a presidential candidate if he had two campaign promises: eliminate ticket scalping agencies like Ticketmaster, and put the Monkees in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame already. I know that doesn't mean
Thank
much
you.
to you. I interviewed you 15 years ago. I interviewed you 15 years ago for my newspaper, you and Peter, and I know it doesn't mean much to you, but it means a lot to your fans.
Oh, it's not that it doesn't mean a lot. It's that I have nothing to say about it.
Right.
And neither do the fans. It's not a demographic
Right.
organization, shall we say. I've heard it's getting a little better, or not better, it's different. It's a private club. It's a private country club started by these three guys, very important guys in the music business and in journalism. But it started as their private club, country club.
Right.
And they have a right to let in whoever they want and don't let in anybody they don't want. It's not like a demographic, democratic sort of vote, by all the people and everything like that. It's nothing like that. So I have nothing to say about it, and the fans really don't either much.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's safe to say everybody I can imagine would agree with me. For I'm a Believer, one of the greatest pop songs in the last 60 years alone is a reason enough for the Monkees to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Plus all the other great songs recorded for headquarters, because there's nothing more rock and roll than a palace revolt of playing your own instruments. It's a friggin' travesty that you guys aren't in there. And I know it's that whole Wrecking Crew thing, but we know the Beach Boys and the Byrds and a few others were guilty of the same thing. And I can't imagine those songs being sung by you, other than you, or in the case of Davies, Davey.
Thank you.
So everybody agree with me on that? I will be giving this up to fans shortly, because I know no one wants to hear my voice. But the other day you reposted a great photo from '73 with Canadian song Anne Murray surrounded by Hollywood vampires, John Lennon, your friend Harry Nilsson, and John was a friend of yours, Alice Cooper, another friend, and you. So you were a charter member of the Hollywood Vampires.
A charter member?
Yeah, you were one of the
Yeah.
And Alice Cooper was the president. And
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong on this, Keith Moon was the vice president at one time.
Yeah.
And the core members included you and John, Lennon, Ringo, Harry, Nilsson. It must have been one hell of a club.
It actually was a softball team. That's how it started. Alice lived next door to me, and we would hang out all the time. And one day he just must have said, "Hey, listen, I want to start a softball team called the Hollywood Vampires," because we would play softball on the weekends just down at the local park. And he said, "Let's start this charity softball team where we'll play other record companies, or we'll play the police department or the firemen or something like that." So it started as a softball team. If you ever find the photo of us, there is a photo flying around of us, all grouped in a group. Albert Brooks was in it, and we're wearing baseball shirts. I don't know if you noticed, but they're baseball shirts. And we played charity softball. Then we'd go to the Troubadour and have a beer.
Or two.
Or two.
That's right.
And like I said, I spent 2 years there one night. And that was it. That's how it started. it was a softball team.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't believe anything I read on the internet. Other members or honorary members included John Belushi, Mark Bolan. No,
Don't remember John.
that would have been too
But
late for that. I think.
I think so.
Yeah, Mark Bolan.
Well, he was around. He came over to my house a few times, but I'm not sure that.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's a
That's-
long time ago, but I'm told I had a great time.
And Alice said the hazing to be in the Hollywood Vampires was to outdrink all the members. Is that true?
That's kind of urban myth, I think, because we drank after the baseball game. We'd go and celebrate if we won and drown our sorrows if we didn't.
So it was just an innocent softball game that.
Well, it started out like that, yeah. And, every time we got together in the evening or at the Troubadour, wasn't necessarily after a softball game, but that's how it started.
And you've known so many you're a legend yourself, but you've known so many legendary musicians and artists, and Alice Cooper is certainly a legend. And he formed a supergroup called Hollywood Vampires with Joe Perry of Aerosmith, which is a local boy around here, and Johnny Depp. And I think you might have been on stage once with them, but maybe I'm wrong. But okay.
No, but I went to rehearsals. I hung out with them for a while, yeah.
Any chance of you ever joining them, or did they ever ask you to be a part of it?
It's not the kind of music you might associate me with.
But you can do anything.
Well, thank you. No, I wouldn't expect to be asked, no.
And I'm gonna let's open up for a few questions. I got a lot of stuff, but you guys are more important to me. Anybody has a question? I think there's a microphone somewhere. If not, you can have my microphone. Anybody have a question? Oh, there's the microphone from D'Artagnan. Don't be shy. You don't have a living legend in a room all the time. Anybody have a question? Yes, Mr. Jabo Jones, I believe, right? Another legend.
You're doing a great job, first of all.
What the hell do you know?
Mickey, Mickey, it's great to see you here today. And you sound, if I close my eyes, I feel like it's 1967. Your voice hasn't changed at all. My question for you, you've done television on NBC with the Monkees. Then you performed live in concert, and then you've recorded. What of those three is, like, how would you rank them being 1, 2, and 3 your favorite?
Well, I wouldn't rank them. I've been asked that question a few times, because also I was a director and writer and producer, and, I've been around a long time, so you tend to move around a lot, because a moving target's harder to hit. And so I don't rank them in that sense. All the projects that I do or hope to do or tend to do are ones that have just grabbed me by their subject matter, or their, like if it was a TV thing, it would be the script. If it was a record, it would be the material, the songs. If it was concerts, it would be the band and the venue and where I'm playing. So that's how I rank things. It's the quality of the initial material, whatever that is.
Thank you.
Good question. And we got someone else coming with a Monkey Headquarters shirt on.
Hi there, Mickey. Thanks for doing the show. Any recollections from the 1969 tour?
Recollections of 1969 tour.
It goes a little way back, so yeah.
None, absolutely. But I don't remember much about last week when I'm touring. And people also ask me that. What's your favorite venue? What was your favorite city? I don't have any, because I'm only there for 18 hours, and all I see is the back of a stage, and then a hotel room, which all look the same. So I don't remember cities. I don't remember places necessarily, or theaters, or, because I don't see them. I remember people, though. I will remember somebody that I met somewhere. Might not remember where it was, but I'll remember meeting certain people. And of course, when you play with different musicians, I remember them, very well. But not places.
That was a pretty long tour with you, Peter and Mike, too. So the '69 tour
it was Davey, me, and Mike.
That's right, Davey.
Not
exactly.
Peter. Peter had left by that time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I do remember. You mean the one where we had a band called Sam and the Good Timers?
Yes, exactly.
That was incredible. I wish there were more pictures or recordings of that. It was crazy. I don't know what we were thinking, but I loved it. I had a great time.
It's too bad that Andrew Sandoval couldn't find any uncovered lost video footage from that tour. You never know what's still left in the archives.
Nobody had videos back at that point. You had 8mm camera, maybe.
Thanks, Micky. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, we have a lovely lady. We got number one and then number two. Yes.
Hi, Micky. How are you? So you are the only monkey that I've had the pleasure of meeting. And I've loved the Monkees since I was 11. And I'm a Davy girl. And what I would like to know from you is, what is your favorite memory of Davy Jones?
Oh, many, many. He was charming. He was funny. He was cute. And he was a lot of things, but very gentle, very English. He was from England. Gosh, I had so many, but one of them. What?
Was there a particular moment, though? Like, I always love the story about when you guys first hung out, when you got on the show, and you went to the restaurant, and you were eating your salad, very rambunctiously, and he had to put you in your place.
I've heard that story. I don't remember that story. One that I do remember, we were on some tour in England, actually, and I don't even remember. Well, it was obviously Davy and I, but it was probably Davy and I and Peter, maybe. I don't recall. But we were in the north of England, near where he grew up. It might have been in, it's a famous horse racing, what's it called? Near Manchester. I can't remember the name. It's a famous horse, because he was a jockey. He was an apprentice jockey. Yep. Before he got into showbiz. As a real little kid, but always loved horses his whole life. And we'd ride together whenever we could. And he said, I've got an old friend who works at a stable where they they exercise race horses, real ones. And you want to go and do a practice warm-up thing they do in the mornings with the horses. And I was like, yeah. I'd never been on that kind of a racehorse. I jumped and done other kind of stuff, but not on the flat, just like, that. And we got on these two horses, and I'll never forget it. We were riding like the wind. And we looked over at each other, and just big grins on our faces. And I always remember that one moment. It was great.
Micky, thank you so much for all you do for us. We love you.
Before we get to the next question, I want you and Davey, after the Monkees, did a show together, a theater show, a musical, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys were such a big hit, and people were coming from everywhere to see you, that they started writing additional scenes and music for it? Or
you mean The Point?
Yes.
The Point, Harry Nilsson's The Point. Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot about it. That was a few years ago. But we got asked to star in a musical in London at the Mermaid Theatre. Wonderful theater there. And I knew The Point because I was there, again, I was there when Harry was writing it. I mean, he was playing me the songs before anybody else told me the whole story of how it was an animated movie of the week first. ABC, I think it was, hour and a half, whatever it was, animated movie of the week, a musical. And then when he got the offer to put it on in London, I think that they wanted to expand it, make it a bit longer, so he did. He wrote some other songs for it and wrote in some other characters, and Davey and I did that. Yeah, it was great. A lot of fun.
Must have been a big thrill for your fans, especially shortly after the show. And we did, who was the next question? Yes. And then...
Hello. So, you and Michael have been one of my favorite duos in history for the longest time. Your sound, the Everly Monkeys, and all of the stuff you've done together, but specifically the thing that really stood out with me with you two was your guys' shtick. Your shtick was one of my favorite things in the world. The way that you guys would banter back and forth just had me in stitches all the time. And
on the TV show, you mean?
Yeah, on that and on stage.
Yeah,
when
and
you
on
guys were
stage
performing
too,
too,
yeah.
Just whenever you did anything and you nailed something, it's hilarious and I love it so much. So I was wondering if there was any specific story you could tell that maybe we don't know about, of like when you guys fell into something really funny that had you cry laughing, if there's any moment you can think of that you'd like to talk about.
There were many moments, again, a long time ago, so I can't maybe be too specific, but it does remind me of how that kind of happened. As you all know, we didn't know each other before we were cast into the television show. And the casting process was very long for a TV series, weeks. And it was not, usually you just read some lines, maybe you did a screen test, maybe. But there was doing the lines, doing screen tests, and improvisation. Must have been very high up on the priority list of the producers and writers. And then there was music. You had to sing and play to even get in the audition. As you all probably know by now, my audition piece on guitar was Johnny Be Good. Mike did one of his tunes, I don't know, can't remember. I wasn't there.
He did a Beatles song.
What?
I remember him talking about doing a Beatles song.
I wasn't there, you know. The auditions were private. They weren't like, you know, America's Got Talent thing. There was no audience. There was a bunch of sweaty grips, electricians, you know. And semi-private, you know. I had my own private one, and so did Peter and David. Peter, I think, probably did a banjo tune, I think he said, did Cripple Creek or something. I don't remember. I don't even know what David did. Anyway, so we get cast into the show, and one of the very first things they do is they bring in a tutor, teacher, acting guy named Jim Frawley. The incredible Jim Frawley, to teach us improv. And I'd never studied it. I'd studied a bit of acting, and I'd done plays in school, and I'd done Circus Boy, but there was no improv when you're doing in those days, there was no improv on a TV series. You learned your friggin' lines word for word, and you came in and you did them and you went home. So the Monkees in '66, it was very different vibe to even have this in a TV show. Any level of improvisation. But they trained us for it. And to their credit, they used a lot of it. The famous Save the Texas Prairie Chicken bit. Yeah, it's great. Well, that's totally off the cuff, just totally made up. But I look back sometimes and I see episodes of the show, and I do remember that was not in the script. That wasn't in any script. It was just, And to their credit, like I say, and I think that had a little bit to do with the success of the show, especially with young kids who like that feeling of improvisation, spontaneity. And so, and that's how that happened. That's where it all came from.
Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you. Good question. You'll be next.
I know John Lennon called you guys the Marx Brothers, and also Timothy Leary had a lot of great things to say about you in his book Politics of Ecstasy. But the question I want to ask you, I work for the railroad. I just want to ask you, did you ever meet Davy's father?
Yes, but it would have been very, very early days, like 65 or 6. I don't remember. Davy's father, right?
Yeah, his father. He
well,
was
it wouldn't have been before 65. I didn't know Davy before 65.
Right.
And I don't remember specifically, but it would have been way back then.
Oh, do you remember you remember meeting him? Oh no, it's okay. All right. Well, thanks for everything.
Sorry, thanks.
We always have to give it to a captain before.
Captain Easy Chord, that's my stage name. Mickey, it's a pleasure meeting you. I was 4 years old when the first Monkees album was released. My eldest sister was a fan. She was also a Beatle fan, but she defected to the Monkees because she couldn't handle Strawberry Fields. But anyway, I got to be a fan of the Monkees as well. I seen you a few times. I saw you with Mike and Mickey, and I saw your solo show, and they were spectacular. You did some the hits, and you also did some obscure stuff. And I have to say, one of my favorite songs that you wrote was Shorty Blackwell. And
That's a weird song.
yeah, my question, well, I get two questions. The first question is, would you consider performing that song?
Performing it?
Yeah.
People have mentioned it over the years, and no, I haven't got around to that one yet. I've done some more obscure album cuts at times.
Yeah.
It's kind of tricky because when I do a show, 75 to 90, let's say.
Yeah.
I have to do so many of, we call them the can't not do's.
Right, yeah.
Right, those are the can't not do's. Clarksville, Believer. Now I do Daydream Believer, Little Bit Me, Pleasant Valley Sunday, She, or Stepping Stone. And now in my new show, and this album, the new CD that's out, is the new show. It's a lot of stories now. I discovered over the last few years, people love the stories. They love these stories of monkey stories,
Yes,
but
as
also
I
I
do,
tell
yeah.
stories of hanging out with, people. And I tell the story of doing Johnny Be Good in my audition. And then how many people have seen any of my shows? Oh, okay, well then I'm preaching to the converted here. It's then, and now it's evolved into even more stories. Yeah.
Okay. My second question, I know this is a long shot and I got my tail between my legs, but I'm a performer, I'm a singer-songwriter, keyboardist, and I'm in the process of recording a song I wrote called Happy Times, which is very much influenced by songs like I'm a Believer, Happy Together, and I Want to Hold Your Hand. And I was wondering if you'd be able to do a vocal on my song. I'm recording it up in Portland, Maine at Launchpad Studios.
Probably not, only because my calendar is so friggin' jammed.
Yeah.
And when I'm not on the road or not recording or not working on something else, I'm working on a film right now, writing a film, I'm working on all kinds of stuff. And when I'm not working my butt off, I sleep. So probably not, but good luck with it.
Okay, thank you, Mickey.
Good luck.
We have a woman in the front row that wanted you.
I'm a bit short for this. So, Mickey, last year I had the pleasure of seeing you at the London Palladium in the tribute show for James Burton. And it was honestly, it was a stellar lineup. It was yourself, Van Morrison, Brian May, Ronnie Wood. I thought you were the star of it. But my question is, I would love to have been a fly on the wall if you were having a conversation with Brian May, because he's obviously a scientist as well as being a phenomenal rock star, and I know you have got a keen interest in science. Now, I know you haven't got time to do a sort of thing with him, but have you had conversations with Brian May about science?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not long ones, because we were just ships passing in the night. When I first met him, I was so excited to meet him, because I know what he's done in astrophysics and all that, and I'm a big fan. But when I met him, I actually got down on one knee and went like this. And then I got up and said, "That, by the way, that's not for your incredible musicianship. It's because of your science." Yeah. And he laughed. Yeah, we did chat a little bit about it. We didn't have a whole lot of time. But yeah, if I could sit down and have a long conversation with him, I would. Yeah. And I bumped into him again a couple times. Yeah.
I'd love to have heard that conversation. It would be really interesting. Yeah. Thank you.
We will take more questions in a segment. I just wanted to say a few things, but we will ask questions because it is about the fans. I just wanted to bring up, during the course of 2 incredible seasons of the Monkees got entangled with art thieves, Australian treasure hunters, bank robbers, ballerinas, circus performers, crooked tycoons, corporate TV executives, on and off the camera, I think, kiddie TV hosts, feuding hillbillies, fraudulent physical cultists, gangsters, golden harps, gypsies, haunted castles, hypnotists, mentalists, scientists, mad scientists, Rosemarie, Mexican banditos, maracas containing top secret microfilm, monkey spas, motorcycle gangs, palookas, princesses, race car drivers, Rip Taylor, space invaders from planet Zotnik, Julie Newmar, and a sledgehammer swinging, piano smashing Liberace. Do you have a favorite Monkees episode?
No, I don't. I don't remember them as episodes. It was, for me, I can only speak for myself, it was one long episode, lasted 2 years. And it's simply because we shot 1.5 episodes a week continuously, nonstop. So we'd start on a Monday. It was a 3-day shooting schedule. We'd shoot an episode, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. On Thursday, we were in a new episode. And Thursday, Friday, Monday would be that episode. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would be another episode. And it was nonstop. It was a continuous episode. And the episodes were different. The co-stars were different. The guest stars were different. But there was also some familiarity, and that's what makes a situation comedy successful, is you tune back in expecting to see the same characters in more or less, similar situations, and hopefully keeping it fresh and everything. But from my point of view, it was just one long 52 half hours, 26 hours of the same show.
And yes, the woman with the cape, I think she's a monkey mademoiselle.
Hello. So I am a Peter fan. I'm a Monkey fan, but I'm a Peter fan. So I used to go to all the Shoe Sway Blues concerts, saw Peter talk a lot in the early 2000s. And so when Davey passed away, we were all very, very sad. But we were surprised when you and Peter and Mike got together to tour, because Peter had spoken so much about how that would never happen. So I was just curious. We were so excited, I decided not to go to my son's wedding in favor of going to see the Monkees in New York and New Jersey that weekend. My son planned his wedding. I had tickets to see the Monkees, and it's like, well, there was no contest. So I was just, because it was so, I didn't think it would ever happen in my lifetime that I would see Mickey, Mike, and Peter on the same stage together. So I'm just curious, how did that happen? How did it happen that you and Peter and Mike were able to set aside your differences and come together for the fans and create this fantastic
I don't remember specifically the exact moment, but I know that after Davey passed, well, we did have a memorial. I think Mike was at that one. I don't recall specifically. You know, that's a long time ago for me, too. But at some point, I vaguely remember the three of us just chatting in a room somewhere in a corner. And I think it just informally kind of came out of that. It would have been Mike that would have been the one that you said, you know, yeah, I'll do it. I don't remember who brought it up. I don't remember then what happened after that. It was then producers and other people involved. But it would have been something that was probably kind of informal rather than we're going to have a meeting, you know. Because after the Monkees, remember, after the Monkees went off the air, the TV show, there was no more Monkees. Didn't exist. Because the Monkees was a TV show about this band, this imaginary band, lived in this beach house, which was a set, you know, Malibu beach house. And it was about this band that was trying to get work. We never actually made it on the TV show. If you notice, the Monkees never made it on the TV show. It would have been over. That would have been the end of the struggle. It was about the struggle for success. So we never actually got any work, which does beg the question, how could we afford a Malibu beach house? We won't go there. So I forget now what I was... Oh, so after the show went off the air, there was no Monkee management. There was no Monkee office. There was nobody calling. Not like the Beatles always had Apple, of course. The Stones always had, you know, their management company. But with the Monkees, it was over. There was nowhere to go, nobody to call. We didn't own the name. We never have, or the images, or the logo, or any of that. We never had a piece of that, any of that. So it just was us over the years keeping in touch, doing the play with Davey, and then a producer came out and said, do you want to get together with Davey and Peter in '86? And that was some producer out of the blue and came around. That's always been the way it was, always.
I have a quick question for you before you say thank you to him. How's your relationship with your son?
He divorced that woman. I knew she wasn't right for him.
Mother's always right. And no, you can say bye to, you can thank him. You want to thank him?
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you.
We're in the home stretch. We got like 5 more minutes, I'm thinking. And then we're going to have this wonderful lady here come out. So don't, you're going to come out. She's going to show you something. We got like 5 minutes more of questions.
Want me to show?
Okay, we got like 3 minutes worth of questions. 2 minutes?
Well, whatever.
Okay, we got whoever has a break. Come on.
Oh, this is Coco, live at the Troubadour, and all of us live at the Troubadour. But Coco's album has 3 or 4 songs that are specific and not on mine. So you really want to get both.
And real quick before you ask.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
How does it feel to have such a large, extensive career and only be known for and defined by a TV show you did in your 20s?
Being known for what?
So, How does it feel to have such a huge, extensive career, but people really only recognize you for something you did in your 20s?
Before he answers that, he has done so much.
Yeah, no, I know what she's
Especially in the
saying.
70s.
I know what she's saying. I think having been in showbiz all my life and my parents in showbiz, I very quickly, at a very young age, understood what that's all about. Like after I did Circus Boy, for instance, I was 10. Well, I acted over the next few years, a little bit on and off, before the Monkees ever happened. But invariably, I mean, I vaguely remember going to an audition for something. And by then I was maybe 14 or something like that. Circus Boy, I was 10. And I had blonde hair, bleached blonde hair in Circus Boy. And I was only this big. I was like a little 10-year-old. Well, of course, I shot up. By the time I'm 14, I'm nearly 6 feet tall or whatever. And, of course, brown hair. It grew out. Tall, lanky teenager. And I vaguely remember going to an audition, and I walk into the main, greeting area, and there's all these little 10-year-old blonde kids around. And they look at me and they go, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be 10 years old and blonde." See? So I was used to that. So after the Monkees, I knew that that would always be, but that applies to all kinds of people. Leonard Nimoy, God love him, one of the greatest actors of our time. Shakespearean actor, friggin' pointed ears. And if you get that and you're okay with it, and you just go on and keep doing what you do, then you can survive. But some people get really hung up. And we've been to concerts with very well-known people that won't play one hit, not one of their hits. They just refuse. So only going to play the new stuff. And I get that. That's fair enough. So I don't fret about it. Like when I went to England, I became a director-producer of television shows. After a very short period of time, nobody mentioned the Monkees. It wasn't on the air. It wasn't rerunning anywhere. I was known as Michael Dolenz, the television producer. So in my case, I got lucky and went and started doing different things. But it can be a big problem. Thank you.
And one thing, you mentioned people get, with one role. Henry Winkler, Fonzie, a role that you went for. You would have did a great job, but a totally different job. And I remember 20 years ago, he was in the movie Scream, and they didn't want to put his name on it because of the Fonzie connection. People saw the tests, and they went nuts when he was in it. And they're like, "We're putting his name on it. He's doing press for this movie." So you never know.
Thank you so much for being here, Micky. You're a treasure. George Michael Dolenz. I just had to say that from the movie Head. I got two quick questions. First of all, do you have any special recollections of when Jimi Hendrix opened for you guys in 1967 and what he was like and what it was like touring with him? And secondly, and then I'll sit down, you've done such an amazing job of reinventing yourself throughout your whole career, and one of those times was doing voices for Hanna-Barbera cartoons in the 70s, including Devlin, one of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons with the motorcycle. And if you just had any recollections of that period of your life to share with everyone. Thank you.
Well, I vaguely remember hanging with Jimmy. I don't remember much about the stage shows because we wouldn't arrive until after they had done their set to the venue, wherever it was. Vaguely remember watching him from the wings maybe once or twice, but we didn't get there until after they were done, when they opened for us. But I do remember hanging with him casually off stage. We would go to dinner. We went and hung out in the hotel rooms. We were jamming, and And I remember going to like clubs in New York when we were playing there. And so I remember that. He was a wonderful, he was a lovely guy. He was very quiet, not at all like his persona on stage. Very quiet, a little shy, I remember. Just kind of this incredibly talented, quiet guy. And he would, but that's not uncommon either. Like Alice Cooper, who's my good friend. Well, as you probably all know, nothing like the persona on stage at all. He's a 3-handicap golfer. And the other question was, I vaguely remember. I had an agent, and I went I'd audition. Obviously, I would go for an audition and either get it or not. But my voice was very high, still is, very high voice. So invariably, I'd get the part of like Skipper or Buddy or, I'm like that. Oh boy. Whoa, look out, we're gonna crash. I was up for the voice of Mickey Mouse in the 70s, the original one, or one of them, I think passed away or something. And I was up, and I understand that it was down to me and another guy, and the other guy became the voice of Mickey Mouse. I really had that one. Little hoarse right now, but.
You three are going to be the last three because we don't want to. So real quick.
Hi, Mickey. Nice to meet you. I follow you on Instagram, and I always make sure that my friends get a daily dose of Dolan's because I send them clips from your Instagram page. But you had a lot of great guest stars on the Monkees TV show, and of course, growing up as a monster kid, one of my favorites was Lon Chaney Jr. What was it like working with Lon Chaney Jr.?
Well, I knew him. We lived next door to him and his family. So way before the Monkees, during Circus Boy and before, we moved into this house when I was 4 or 5, and he was literally the next door neighbor. In fact, he said, "You guys want to come over and swim?" He had a swimming pool. And we crawled through the fence and go swimming in. So by the time the Monkees came along, I knew exactly who it was. He was great. Stan Freberg was incredible. I was a big fan. Rose Marie was one of our favorites. Yeah.
And Timothy Carey in Head. Timothy Carey, the actor Timothy Carey.
He was incredible.
Now we're going to have to wrap this up real quick, and then this wonderful lady's going to come back out.
A quick question about the song selection, because I know Don Kirshner controlled what songs went on the albums and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot. After that, was there still issues with like who decided which songs went on the albums? Because I seem to remember.
Sorry, which album are you talking about?
Well, I seem to remember hearing that Peter complained about some of the songs he had to record and which ones went on the albums. Was that an issue?
I'm sorry.
Not close enough?
Okay,
is that better?
Yeah, real quick.
The song selection, like after Kirshner, did you guys have more control?
Which album are you talking about?
Well, just in general, like.
You mean the Monkey albums?
Yeah, the Monkees.
Early Monkey albums?
Yeah.
We had absolutely nothing to say about anything. Not who was going to sing the song, not who was writing the song, playing on the song, what was going to be on the album, the track list, none of that. We had absolutely nothing to say until about headquarters.
Okay,
nothing.
So Pool It as well, you guys had
No,
control of that?
by the time Pool It,
yeah,
that wasn't an early one. That was 80s or whatever.
Okay, but Mickey has things he has to do. Let's all get on our feet and give him a warm round of applause. Living legend, Mickey.
Getting hoarse.